Mike Wheeler is the single most beautifully written but tragically misunderstood character in all of Stranger Things. Let's talk about it. So, the first glimpse we get into his mental health is this scene right here. Remember, he had just blown up at 11 and he lost his best friend all in the span of 1 week, both of which are contributing to him having a self sacrificial mindset. Then, by the end of the season, he thinks he witnesses 11 die. So he starts lashing out in school. He curses out teachers, he graffitis the walls, he plagiarizes. In psychology, this is called displacement, meaning that he is hurting, but instead of verbalizing it, he's taking it out in other ways. Then we have the infamous season 3 Mike Wheeler. This is when he starts becoming controversial because he's pretty unlikable. He's 13 to 14 years old in this season, which is around the age that children start to develop their own identities according to developmental psychologists. And they usually do it according to social norms, which is why Mike tells Will that they're not kids anymore. He stops playing D&D because he thinks it's childish, and he blows off his friends for his girlfriend because in his mind, teenage boys are supposed to be obsessed with girls. So, if Mike feels obnoxious to you, it's because he's supposed to. He's not being himself. It's why he starts dressing like his dad. I also find his behavior towards Will interesting because he's pretty awful to him and him specifically. I don't think it's because he doesn't care about Will. I don't think it's because he's homophobic, because the show tells us that neither of those is true. I think his problem is that he cares too much, and that scares him because in the 1980s, that's not normal. So he suppresses it by pushing Will away. When I think about Mike Wheeler, I think about these tweets from the Stranger Things writers. You can pause to read, but they're basically saying that coming out doesn't look the same for everyone. Some people may know earlier, like Will, and some people may know later in life, like Mike, and some people may repress it. I think Mike's character is a commentary on how things like trauma, internalized homophobia, social norms can impact a child's coming of age. And once you see it, you realize how beautifully written and executed his character is. So where does that leave Mike in season 5? We know he has a pretty low self-esteem and hasn't really been a leader in the past few seasons. But right after filming season 5, Finn Wolfhard said that Mike cares about truth and honesty, which tells me that his arc in the final season is going to be about accepting himself. And I think once he does that, that will boost his self-confidence and allow him to reassume his position as the leader of the party.